This video is brought to you by Hellwig Products.
Go to the website at hellwigproducts.com.
Load and sway control. This is William from PrimerPodcast.com.
And this is Davis.
Today we're going to install a Hellwig LP-25 on the truck.
That's a spring helper kit.
Helper spring.
Got it.
We're
on your
65 F100.
right.
So we're just going to go step by step, follow the directions. Pretty straightforward, standard tools.
Yeah.
One of the things I really like about the Hellwig product is 100% American made, family owned business, 3 generations spanning over 65 years. Good people, great product.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, before we get started, I wanted to load the back of the truck up with a couple transmissions,
A couple of cylinder heads and a
engine block,
flathead engine block.
and you can see that back end is pretty well dumped. After the install, we'll load up all the same stuff, and I know we're going to see a difference. Step 1, raise the rear of the vehicle by the frame so that the rear tires are slightly contacting the floor. Be sure to block the front tires and use jack stands to support the vehicle by the frame. This will increase the vehicle's spring arch to ease installation. So we got to raise up the frame. We might need a block of wood or something.
I'll go get you a block of wood.
How are we looking?
Looks pretty good.
Okay, step 2, lay out the springs in 2 sets. Each will consist of a long, medium, and short leaf with an additional shorter leaf. Oh, that's for the LP-35. The hole in the middle leaves are punched an inch off center, and the long ends all in the same direction. So let's lay them out. See how this hole is off center? That means the longer part is going to go towards the front. Inch bolt, nut, and lock washer that are provided to tighten the spring stack tightly. I don't see lock washer, so. Okay, so these get put together with a 3/8 bolts. Thanks, Gramps, for lock washer. And these get tightened to 20 to 30 foot-pounds. Yeah, I really needed that extra cup of coffee this morning.
Should be it.
Okay, place the spring stack on top of the step bracket and install the 5-hole plate on top of the spring stack using the small U-bolts. And lock nuts that are provided. Mount the spring stack so that the step brackets with the 5-hole plate and leaves tightened completely. So these are 7/16, and the torque on that would be 35 to 45.
Okay, William, this is a part where you're going to delete the previous video. We have to break this apart. So let's start over here. FYI.
Yeah, this goes there.
Good job, Demi. That guy goes on there. Then your top plate. And do you want to get a...
Do you have a couple 2x4s?
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's prop it up so you get a good angle on it.
That goes there. That goes there. And the shorties go up through there. Holds everything together. With washers and 7/16 nuts.
Okay, a thing to note here is the orientation of the, or the identification of a lock nut. That's this guy with a dimple on the side versus one without.
And they're the lock washers.
Yep, they were there. Okay, so what we're going to do is use our handy dandy quick clamps. We use them for installing brake shoes, holding brake parts together while I'm putting them down. Here we're going to use them to make sure that the top plate is square with the spring. We want to make sure this is nice and square.
Because as we're tightening this down, everything wants to torque over. So
we'll just use these as a placeholder, keep it all square. Then we'll torque it down.
okay, place the assembled spring on top of the truck springs. In most cases, the long ends of the spring go towards the rear, so I was wrong. So we'll flip these around. And align the springs to be centered over and in line with the truck springs from front to rear. So we'll set them in. It'll be the next set of U-bolts. Okay, if you're following along closely, you'll realize that we're short on washers. That's because someone didn't read the directions exactly, and these are the washers that we're going to need. So I got to take this apart, redo it, and these washers will be used with the long ones are going to go here, the washer, double nut, and the crossbar, and then the medium ones, same thing, are going to go here to connect it to the leaf spring. All right, back on track. Long ones go to the rear. So.
All right, so we've got basically set up so that the bracket configuration sits right over the spring perch for the actual shock. I mean, not the shock, the leaf spring. So we've got it all centered up.
And an extra hand really helped.
So it's in line. That's what you want. It's a good thing this is a high axle truck.
So there's two different cross brackets.
Right.
One is thinner, smaller holes. I'm assuming that's going to go with the medium U-bolts, and the thicker one with the larger holes is for the bigger one. So that goes on the end. So we put these in first, kind of loose, and then try to get this bad boy on. We might have to put a C-clamp on one end to be able to get the nut started. So that's what's next.
All right, so once you get these sort of loose fit, it should look like this. These are the medium U-bolt brackets.
Clamp really helps.
So we got our spring assemblies roughed in. Use the quick clamp to give us a little bit of bite here on the U-bolt. And then we'll go back, put the double nut on there, tighten it all up. But first we got to do the other side.
Okay, so what we found the trick was slide it along here and then lift it up and over once it's centered. Trying to come over this way, this is hitting the bed and rails too much. So because we're using these speed clamps, just trying to get one on the end by itself is way too tough. So I started at the center with, or more towards the center, put one on, compressed it, put the second one on, compressed that, took the first one, moved it further back so that I progressively brought this back end down where I could get cross bricks on. My C-clamp wasn't long enough to do the whole thing, which I imagine you could, with the large enough C-clamp, you could have done it in one shot. Okay. Align the U-bolts and helper springs to be centered and in line with the truck springs. Tighten the medium length U-bolts in the step bracket completely and double nut. And I got, if it's ½ inch, we're going to go 50 to 70, and 9/16 goes 70 to 90. Okay, so we tighten up the medium ones to, what is it?
50 to 70.
50 to 70. Then we drop it, tighten up the big ones, and adjust for road height. Okay, there it is, medium U-bolts on, torqued, double nutted.
Okay, ready for you to torque it.
Cool.
Alright, so we've got the center U-bolts tightened up, everything's squared away. Now we'll lower the truck and adjust the ends for the proper tension and ride height.
Okay, it's installed. Look at that. Definitely a difference. And that's having a block, 2 transmissions, couple heads. So we're going to unload the truck and then we'll do the final adjustment on those long bolts and get the double nuts on. So that's it. A couple hours.
2.5 hours, man.
That includes my mistakes.
Doing it twice.
So make sure to read the directions.
All the directions.
Every single nut, bolt, and washer was there.
Basic tools, ½ inch drive,
Half inch drive is essential.
deep socket. You're set.
Yeah. And they'll come in your basic
C-clamps.
Yeah. So thumbs up.
Thumbs up, man.
When I get home, I'll do the final adjustment as far as the height by either tightening or backing out the long ones.
On the ends.
So not going to do that today because I want to look at it and say, okay, is that where I want it? Tweak it, look at it, you know. So
You're set.
great product. Make sure to visit them at hellwigproducts.com. And thanks for watching.